I really struggle with killing friendly survivors. I know that sounds silly. Obviously, the choice is up to me, and it'd be nuts for the survivors to expect the killer to spare them just because they're being cute. But the problem is, when I'm playing normally, put that in quotation marks, I am zoned out. I'm listening to music, I'm half focusing on killing the survivors, while thinking about my guinea pigs. And then a survivor does something unexpected and charming and everything becomes real. I normally have to pause the music to actually pay attention to the game. While playing seriously, I can thrive with the knowledge that everyone here is on the same page about their roles. They run, I chase, I kill, they survive. Simple. And then survivors stop running and the game comes to a standstill. I struggle to continue to chase someone that is breaking away from their expected role. It's an actual psychological tension that occurs in my brain. It doesn't feel like a conscious choice to spare a cute survivor. I have this self-image of being a kind person. And if this survivor, this human being, has come up to me and essentially asked me for mercy, and I don't give it to them, then there's an inconsistency in my head. And this causes tension and stress. Obviously, there are decisions that can be made to lessen this tension. If the survivor team brought a map offering, it feels easier to be merciless. Or if they behaved in a disrespectful manner earlier. But if they've done nothing against me, it's tough for me to go through with the kill. That's ridiculous, right? I always assumed I was consciously making decisions to spare the survivors that I spared. But it turns out I am simply avoiding being perceived as an unkind person. And it's so much easier for me to rationalize being a friendly killer when the team has someone disconnect or their teammates give up. This puts the remaining survivors at a notable disadvantage, and I would feel wrong exploiting that. I don't have this same fear when everyone is on the same page. All the survivors are running. They're progressing the game. They clearly know what they're doing. Everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. And then it's not, and survivors are looking up at you with their puppy dog eyes, and what can you do? How can I live with myself if I am the one to take away their hope? It's funny that I've pushed this idea of not letting others dictate your playstyle and to do what you want to do. But the second I run into friendly survivors, my playstyle is to do whatever will make them happy. I had a moment on Dead Dog where two survivors were staring at a vulture. I've seen this vulture countless times. I knew it was there. It's nothing new or special. But I've never stared at it with these specific survivors. The gestures, the staring, the quiet moments of communication and connection, they all make the game feel so real. I guess I don't know if my choice to be friendly comes from a place of seeking human connection, or I'm not sure if I should call this phenomenon cognitive dissonance or a fear of being a hypocrite. Cognitive dissonance occurs when behavior and belief don't really match up. The behavior, in this case, being killing a friendly survivor, and the belief being that I'm a nice person. Although I guess I am a hypocrite, right? I don't like being tunneled, but I'm willing to tunnel if that's what has to be done in order to win. A survivor only becomes a human being in my eyes when they stop running. Otherwise, they're a challenge to overcome. An opponent to face. I think I need to let go of my fear of inconsistency with myself and acknowledge that my approach to the game will vary and shift as much as the trials themselves. Sometimes I will be merciful, sometimes I will play like an asshole. Neither of these dictate who I am. It's important to remember not to attribute morality to in-game actions. Even the worst behavior, in quotation marks, like teabagging, BMing, disconnecting, none of these are indicators of how good or bad of a person you are. There is almost no way to play like a bad person. You are only being a bad person if you are attacking your opponents personally in endgame chat or on Steam or on Twitch. Almost everything that happens within the confines of the game doesn't have moral value. We only judge others' actions based on our personal rulebooks. This judgment will always exist. So long as we are in the presence of other human beings, our actions and choices will be compared and scrutinized. We judge others for killer choices, perk choices, items, add-ons, offerings, actions, all based on our own personal idea of how the game is meant to be played. I've noticed that I get upset when survivors or killers don't react to situations in the way that I would react to them. For example, I always stop and listen when survivors use bardic inspiration, but killers don't always do that for me. And you know what? It is unfair to expect other people to change their behavior for me, especially in a competitive game. A killer does not owe the survivor team any level of kindness, and vice versa. What's beautiful is that we show kindness and respect anyway, but that is the exception, not the rule. I think an important thing for you to do if you play a lot of DPD is to recognize what exactly you are looking for out of the trials and how the presence of others affects your behavior. Do not let the opinions and judgments of others leave you feeling paralyzed or self-conscious. If you are playing in the way that you find fun and fulfilling, then you are playing the game correctly.
I was only falling in love. I was only falling in love. I was only falling in love.